Hello guys, welcome back to WSQ. In our today's session, we will be learning that what are variables and how they can be created. Also, before we start working on that, let's just discuss what we did in our previous sessions. So in our previous sessions, we created our first program in Python using print statement, and we also learned how to create comments, single line comments and multi-line comments. So I hope videos were clear to you and you're learning well.
Also, if you want to become a successful data analyst and you want to learn from our industrial experts, then you may call on the number given below, or you can also click on the link given in our description. Not just that, with our every batch, you will be getting 2 demo classes for free. So let's get started, guys.
So let's get started. In today's session, as we are going to learn about variables. Variables, you might have heard the term before. Let me explain you variable in a very simple term. Understand variable as a container that holds some value. So let's say it's a glass of water. So variable is the glass and the water inside it is the value. Now value can be increased, decreased or changed according to you. There can be a water inside it, there can be a juice or a cold drink inside it. So the container, that means the variable remains constant, but the value inside it changes throughout the program. We'll go with the definition as well, that variables are placeholders which can store a value. So in simple words, it's a container that holds a value. Okay, how to write a variable? Let's come on that part. How we can write a variable. To create a variable, all you need to do is give it a meaningful name. Let's say I'm going to give name. Name is equals to John. Okay, and I'm not going to print John, I'm going to print name without double quotations. So if I run this program, it prints me John, right? Similarly, I'll write for age that age is equals to 23, print age. If I run the program, it prints John 23. Okay, this is how a variable can be created. Right. If you want to add more things to it, you can add more things to it. So here you will notice that we have John written inside the double quotations, while the age of John, that is 23, is written outside the double quotations, which is the difference in the data types, which we will be further studying in our upcoming sessions. So as of now, just understand how a variable can be created. To create a variable, there are certain rules that we need to follow. Let's study those certain rules, that what are the rules to write a variable. So here are some rules for writing the name of the variables. So our first rule is Python is a case sensitive language. Now what is this case sensitive language? Let's understand that with the help of an example. Okay. So here I'm taking an example. Let's say I have created a variable called as name. Name is equals to John. Using the similar example as before, and this time I'm gonna print name. You might well notice over here that name here is written in capital M-N, while here the name is written in small n. Let's see what happens if we run the code. Okay. It throws an error and says that name is not defined. The capital N name is not defined. The small n name has been defined, that the small n name refers to John, that John is there inside this variable, but there is no capital N name. So we need to be very careful about the cases, that if we are using a smaller case while writing the name of the variable, while printing it or while using it anywhere, we will be using the smaller case as well. This is our first rule. So here now the name works. Let's come to our second rule. Our second rule says that make sure to not use spaces while creating a variable. While you're writing two values, let's say when you're creating a variable called as even number, odd number or positive number or something that has two words inside it, we cannot use spaces over there. So what we can use? Let's take an example for that. So as I said, we cannot use two names together. Let's see what happens if we use two words giving a space in between. So I'm creating a variable called as even number is equal to 2 and print even number. Okay. It's already showing me there is a red line below here. Red means danger, and red here is an error. But still I'll run the program and show it to you. that yes, it's an invalid syntax and it's throwing an error towards the number side. It's giving its arrows towards the number side. Why it's doing it? Because we have used a space in between. So what we can do over here is, instead of using a space, you can use an underscore. Don't use a dash, that means the hyphen. You can only use underscore. Okay, and now if I run it, it works, right? Even number is equals to 2 and printed even number, so 2 has been printed over here. Now let's see another way. Now let's see what is the second thing that you can do. So instead of writing even number like this, you can capitalize NUM. So it would look like a separate word itself, that even, okay, starting with the capital N, then it's a number. So even number. And if you run it, yes, it works. So yes, there are two methods where you can avoid writing spaces, and you can use underscore, or you can change your cases and make it work. Let's go to the third rule. Let's see what our third rule says. So our third rule says that a variable name should never start with a number or a special symbol. Now what does this mean? Let's see an example. So what does this thing mean, that our variable name should never start with a special symbols or number? Let's say I want to write one number is equals to 12, two number is equals to 13, and print one number, comma, two number. Right. As you can already see, we have so many errors over here, so many red underlines. So yeah, I'm still gonna run it. And yes, it's an error. It's the error is indicating towards 1, that 1 is not valid over here. We cannot use numbers or special symbols. You can over here, you cannot use star num over here, right? Yes, you can use number 1 here. Also you can use number 2, but not one number and two number. You can use a symbol in between of the variable or in the end of the variable, but you cannot use it in the starting of the variable. So variable names should never start with the numbers or special symbols. And if I run it, yes, it gives me the output 12 and 13. Yeah. So these are 3 rules for writing the variable names. Our first rule says that the Python is case sensitive language, where we need to take care about the cases, that if something is written in the capital letters or smaller letters, then it should be followed throughout the program. Second thing says that there should not be use of spaces in between. We cannot use spaces between two words while creating a variable. Third rule says that a variable name should never start with the letter or a special symbol. So I hope how to create variables and what are the rules for writing the variables are pretty much clear to you all. And in our next session, we will be learning about data types, what are data types, and how to take inputs from the users. Thank you for your time and stay connected to learn more about Python.